Hello everybody, welcome to the Java course. When we set up the main method, we always need to add the string array args at the end of the main method. So what does it mean by the args variable? It is actually a reference variable to an array of string references. So when we run the main method, we are going to add an array of string references. So the string would have some numbers or characters for us to handle by means of the main method. So we can see an example to illustrate the meaning of the args variable here. So actually, the args variable is a reference variable to an array of string references. I'm going to print out the contents stored in the array referenced by the variable called args. So args is simply a reference to an array. So we can find out the length of this array by means of the length property. And then I can print out the contents of the array pointed to by the args variable. So of course we know that the array is storing a lot of string references, and when I do the printing here, I'm going to look up the array of string references, and I would get the string objects pertaining to each string reference. So how can I put the contents into the main method in order to run this code? I can do something like this. I go to run configurations, and then I can go to Java application, and then I press once. I will get driver, and in the driver control panel, I would have arguments. So I can put the arguments here. I can put 1 space 2 space 3 space 4. So the array pointed to by args instance variable will be having 4 string references. Each of the string references pointing to each of the strings here. So I have 4 strings, and the 4 strings would have their own references, and the args variable is going to locate all those objects. Okay. So it is sensible for us to see I will get the result of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me see the result by running it. How can I run it? I click the run button here. Okay, I will get 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each string would be followed by the space here. If I want to show all the string objects on one line, I can do something like this. I don't use print none, I use print only. Save it, run it. I will get 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I run the program for the second time, the argument will still be those values put in the tab here. So when I can pick up the elements in the args array, we have to notice that all of them are string objects. So if we want to treat all these values as integers as we wish, how can I do that? I need to change from the string objects to integers. We have actually two ways to do this kind of conversion. What I'm going to do is like that. One way is like that. I change from string to integer objects, and then from the integer objects I change them to int primitives. This is one way. And the other way is like that. I can change the string objects to integer primitives directly. So let me introduce the first approach now. Suppose I want to find out the sum of these four integers. Because they are now strings initially, I have to turn them to integers before I can do the summation. I set up the sum variable first, which is going to store the sum of these four values. Now I'm going to change the string objects to integer objects, and then from integer objects I change to integer primitives. By using these two lines, I'm going to get the sum of these four values. Why? In the first step, I'm going to change the string object coming from the args array to integer objects first. So I would pick up the objects from the args array one by one. So when I is 0, I will get the first string object, which is 1. And I turn this string object to an integer object. And from the integer object, I will change the integer object to integer primitive by means of the int value method. So I have an integer object, and the object reference dot int value would give me the primitive value, which can be added up to the sum primitive variable. Okay, so I will get 10 as the answer. Let me check now. Before checking, I have to print the value out. Okay, I will get 10 as the answer because I simply changed every string object to integer objects first, and then I changed each integer object to integer primitive. So I will get 10 as the answer. After this kind of conversion, I can do the summation very easily. This is one way. I have another way by means of changing strings to integer primitives directly. Okay, I still need the for loop. Okay, this is the second idea. I use the method called value of to change the content from the string object to integer object, and then from the integer object I can turn the integer object value to an integer primitive, and then I do the summation of the integer primitives. Let me check. I will still get 10 as the answer. So in this case, I am going to provide the string object, and then I can make use of this property integer dot value of to change the string object directly to integer primitive. So this is the idea of using the value of method. So you can choose one of the ways to do so when you want to change from string objects to the corresponding integer primitives. So after this video, I hope you're able to understand the meaning of the string array args component in the main method, and I hope you're able to understand how you can make use of the run configurations window to help you input the arguments to the main method, and from the main method you can process these string objects in order to get your desired results. This is the end of the video. If you have any questions about my video, feel free to leave your comments on the comment section below the video. If you like this video, please give me a like and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.